Hello everyone. Welcome to this video on Light, Reflection and Refraction Part 1. In this video, we are going to discuss about light, terminologies associated with light, reflection, terminologies associated with reflection, laws of reflection and types of reflection. Now, consider that you are kept in a dark room. So do you expect to see anything around you? Obviously no. Why? Because there is no light. But as soon as you switch on the lights, you will be able to see different things around you in the room. Why? Because there is light. Light is a form of energy that makes it possible to see different things around us. Scientists in earlier ages have experimentally proved that light travels in a straight line. It travels with a speed of 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Now let me tell you some of the properties of light. The first one is, it travels with a straight line. It is an electromagnetic wave. That is, it does not require any medium to travel. As we all know that we cannot hear sound if you are kept in a vacuum room. Why? Because sound requires a medium. It requires air to travel from one point to another. But this is not in the case of light. Light does not require any medium to travel. Light has dual nature, that is wave and particle. Now here I have given an image of sun. Why? Because sun is the natural source of light. During daytime, when we go out, we can see different things around us. Why? Because there is natural source of light called sun. Now let us discuss some of the terminologies associated with light. The first one is ray of light. A straight line that represents the direction of propagation of light is called ray of light. When such rays of light accumulate and forms a bunch, that bunch of rays of light is called a beam of light. A group of light rays that are parallel to each other are called parallel beam of light. A group of light rays that spreads out from the source is called divergent beam. In this picture, you can see that there is a source of light which gets diverged in different direction when hits the reflecting surface. A group of light rays that meets at a specific point is called convergent beam. In this picture, you can see that the source of light hits the surface and the rays are getting intersected over one another at a point called A. So this is convergent beam. In convergent beam, the rays of light meets at a specific point and it is called convergent beam. Now, let's consider that a ray of light strikes or hits a reflecting surface. What would happen? What do you think? What would happen if a ray of incident light strikes a reflecting surface? Obviously, the light will get sent back in a different direction in the same medium, right? So this phenomenon is called reflection. The light striking a polished surface such as a mirror is sent back in the same medium with a changed direction is called reflection. Reflection of light helps us to see different things around us. Even some of the phenomena like twinkling of stars, image formation by mirror are all due to reflection. Here I have given some images that will help you to get an idea of what reflection is. In the first image, you can see a woman seeing herself on mirror. We all are aware of this example because in our day-to-day life, we all are doing this. So this is an example of reflection. Due to reflection, we get an image of ourselves on a mirror. In the second example, I have given image of a mirror. In the third example, I have given image of a plate. It is not necessary that the reflecting surface has to be a mirror. It is not always necessary. It can be any surface that can reflect the light falling on it. So here it's a polished metallic surface. It has the ability, it has the capability to reflect the light falling on it. So it's a reflecting surface. Now in the fourth example, there's a house, there's water in front of the house, and we can see the reflection of the house in water. So water is also a reflecting surface. Now let's talk about some terminologies associated with reflection of light. So before we move on to these points, let us have a look over this image. Here we can see a plane surface, which is called the reflecting surface. The ray of light that strikes the reflecting surface is called the incident ray. The ray of light that gets reflected back by the reflecting surface is called the reflected ray. There is a line called normal perpendicular to the reflecting surface. There's angle A, angle B. Angle A is called angle of incidence and angle B is called angle of reflection. Now let's get back to these terminologies. First, what is incident ray? The ray of light that falls on a polished surface or polished reflecting surface is called incident ray. In this picture, you can see that there is an incident ray that is striking the reflecting surface. Now, second, reflected ray. The ray of light that gets sent back with a changed direction from the reflecting surface is called reflected ray. In this picture, you can see that the incident ray strikes the mirror, strikes the reflecting surface and is sent back in the same medium with a changed direction. That ray is called the reflected ray. Angle of incidence. The angle between the ray of incidence and the normal is called angle of incidence. In this picture, angle A represents the angle between incident ray and normal. It is called the angle of incidence. Normal. A straight line standing perpendicular to the point of incidence and the reflecting surface is called normal. In this picture, you can see that there is a dotted line perpendicular to the reflecting surface. It is called the normal and it stands 90 degrees from reflecting surface. Angle of reflection. The angle between the normal and the reflected ray is called angle of reflection. In this picture, you can see angle B represents the angle between normal and the reflected ray. Angle B is called angle of reflection. Now let's move on to some other terminologies associated with reflection of light. Now, when we are talking about image, we are talking about reflection, then there has to be some entity of which the image has been created after reflection, isn't it? So that entity of which the image is formed after reflection is called an object. The image of an object on a screen we get after reflection is the image. The image of an object is derived on a screen. Now, the image are of three types. It can be a real image, it can be a virtual image, and it can be an erect image. So what is a real image? The image that can be obtained directly on a screen is called a real image. We all are well aware of movie theaters, isn't it? So what happens there? Different images that are projected using a projector on a screen is called a real image. So, real image is the image that can be obtained on a screen. So, in movie theaters also, different images are projected using a projector on a screen. So, that is a real image. But those images that cannot be obtained on a screen are virtual image. For example, the image obtained on a plane mirror that can never be obtained on a screen. So, the image formed by a plane mirror is always virtual. Now, what is erect image? The image having same direction as that of the object is called erect image. It is always upright and straight. The image formed by a plane mirror is erect image. We will discuss it later on. Now, every phenomenon that happens in nature are governed by some set of protocols, by some set of laws. Even the phenomenon of reflection is governed by certain laws. So there are two laws of reflection. The first law of reflection is the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. In this image, angle A represents the angle of incidence and angle B represents the angle of reflection. According to first law of reflection, angle A is equal to angle B. The second law of reflection states that the incident ray, the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence, and the reflected ray all lie in the same plane. In this image, the incident ray, the normal to the point of incidence, and the reflected ray all are lying on the same plane, on the same reflecting surface. Now, let's talk about different types of reflection. Reflection can be categorized into three different categories. The first one is regular reflection. The image itself clarifies what is regular reflection, isn't it? Here, the reflecting surface is smooth, it's regular. This type of reflection takes place from a polished surface which is smooth and regular. The incident rays remain parallel to each other even after getting reflected. So here you can see that parallel incident rays strikes the smooth reflecting surface. After reflection, the rays are parallel. So this is regular reflection when the surface is smooth, when the parallel incident rays striking the mirror are reflected back parallelly. Now, the second type of reflection is diffused reflection. It is also called irregular reflection. Do you know why? Because the reflecting surface in case of diffused reflection is irregular. So here you can see in this picture that the surface that we have used for reflecting the incident rays is rough. It's irregular. So what happens? The rays do not remain parallel after getting reflected. Now, the third kind of reflection is multiple reflection. In this image, there is only one object but two mirrors. So using one object and two mirrors, we are able to get so many images of single object. So what is multiple reflection? In this phenomenon, many images can be obtained of a single object using two or more than two reflecting surfaces. Now there is a point you must remember. If you keep two mirrors parallelly, then the image obtained is infinite. Thank you everyone. Thank you for watching this video. We will be coming up with some more videos.